So as you can tell, this is a little bit of a different location from the typical tutorials. So not in the home office, not in the office, but a type of video I find myself watching pretty regularly is gear videos. So it'd be the type of videos that people go through and they showcase the type of gear that they're using, or they're showcasing their setup, or any type of variation or combination between the two. My car is apparently quite the cow magnet. So one of the types of gear that I don't usually talk about, or haven't really ever talked about on this channel, is a backpack. So it's not really out of the norm for me to use a backpack if I'm out traveling somewhere. So if I go to another town for a conference or something like that, or even if I'm going to be out hiking or exploring, kind of like I'm doing today. However, one of the things that I've always resisted and didn't really like the idea was having like a daily carry. That is, to have a backpack that I use from work. And so if you've been following this channel pretty closely, you know that I now have a private office that I go and I work at. So sometimes I'm working at home and sometimes I'm working in this office. But for whatever reason, it's just always been stuck in my brain that if you're going to be going to an office, you have to be carrying a messenger bag or a briefcase or something that you sling over your shoulder. I just never really thought or liked the idea of using a backpack. That is until I got this particular backpack with a very particular setup, which I wanted to show you today. Okay, so here is the bag. It looks pretty basic, or kind of what you would expect at first, but one of the things I really like about this bag is, first of all, it's like the material that it's made of. It's either waterproof or very water resistant because it has gone through a decent amount of rain. Although we don't get too much rain here in Idaho. The other thing is it has 2 pockets on each side, and one of the really nice things about the pockets is that they are magnetic, so they'll kind of like snap into place. So for a water bottle, which I occasionally have here, and then in this case I just have a little handheld tripod that I typically use, and then I just use like one of these little cable ties to make sure that it's not flapping around or anything weird like that. Then it has a nice little side pouch, so this is where my laptop goes in. And one of the amazing things about this bag, and why I'm using it for my work carry as well, so my everyday carry that I'm going to be using instead of a briefcase, is although I don't have it right now, and maybe you can kind of tell from this angle, but I actually fit 2 laptops in there. Because I have one for a company I work with, and then I have a personal laptop. I don't have both of them here, because obviously that wouldn't make sense. But it's a fairly small bag, and it is absolutely incredible that it's able to fit 2 Mac laptops. One's a 16-inch and the other is a 15-inch, so pretty crazy. I probably wouldn't recommend that because you're maxing out the space, but if you need to, you can. The other things I really like about this bag is just the build quality. It's built really well. It's very strong. All the stitching and everything doesn't really give you the indication that it's ever going to come loose. Plus, it really just has like a really slim form factor, which I like. So it's not like, you know, if you're walking through a crowd of people or something, particularly if you're using this every day like I am and you're going to the office, you don't have to worry about bumping into somebody and, you know, spilling their coffee or something. But this by far is the reason why this has become my everyday carry, not only when I'm out exploring places like today, but also when I'm in the office. And that is this top zipper area here, which is amazing. It's quick access, so obviously I'm using my camera right now. But typically, if I'm just carrying this around and I'm not out exploring, this is where my camera goes with the microphone attached. I have to give credit not only to the person who helped collaborate to have this bag put together, but also the person who gave me this idea to do this. So I'll go ahead and leave a link to the video below where he showcases his bag setup, which is pretty similar to mine since that's actually where I kind of got this idea from. His name's Peter McKinnon, so again, I'll leave a link below so you can check that video out if you want to. But right now I've just got my drone in there since this is, you know, I'm probably going to be getting some drone footage today, but typically in this square, this area right here, I would have this camera that I'm using to record with. And what's so amazing about that is you literally just unzip this one thing, pull out your camera. And so if a camera bag is something that you're looking for and you want to have quick access to that camera, that is a huge game changer right there. Okay, but this is not a what is my camera bag, this is a what's in my camera bag. So all that aside, let's go ahead and dive into some of the things that I have. So like I said, I've got a Mavic drone, which fits in one of these very nice cases. So here it is all unzipped. And as you can see, it kind of fits all nice and snug in this nice little case. One of the things that Mavic or DJI does really good with their drones is they are good at making them portable. Then beyond that, I've got this kind of side compartment. So you'll be able to see here in a second a little bit more detail, but this is essentially a cube that is fitting inside this bag. And the cube has these little dividers which allow you to add different things in there. So what I've got here is my card case, so that slides into this little compartment here. Then we've got a case for batteries, so this is going to be extra batteries for this camera. And then a nice little kit that has a flashlight, a knife, and a pen. Those are things that come in handy all the time, whether, you know, opening boxes or, you know, you need a flashlight or you need a pen out of left field. This thing comes in handy way more than I thought it would. Then in this little side pocket here, I have AirPods, ever important. So one of the things that this bag definitely doesn't lack is pockets, but again, just kind of the essentials, not a suitcase, all the things that you need. And it's got a little zipper pouch up here for storing extra little things like your wallet, your keys, stuff like that. Then for the main zipper, which we go and we zip all the way around, and then that opens the bag up in its entirety. Now, one of the reasons I really like that top section we just looked at was because typically the only way to get to any of your stuff is to unzip the whole thing, which, as you can see, takes up a lot of space, which is, you know, kind of annoying. But one of the things I alluded to previously is that it's got these little cubes, and they come out and they go in any direction. Now typically, so this one comes with two, but typically what you would do is you would have both of these cubes face up. But one of the things that Peter mentioned in his video that he does is he turns this one sideways so that when you open that top pouch, you can access everything instantly. And then once you open the whole bag, you have access to everything else. So what I have here is a 85mm f1.2 Canon RF lens. This is what I'm going to use for a lot of my B-roll footage. Then I've got a 24mm f1.4, and this is what I actually use. This is a big piece of my daily carry when I'm going to the office, because this is the lens that I use almost exclusively for all of my tutorials. And because I use the R5, which uses a particular type of RF lens, such as that 85 I just showed you, there is a nice little adapter that allows me to use other lenses as well. Then I also carry in here as well an iPad mini with a stylus as well. This has just kind of become my daily notebook. Maybe I can do a full tutorial or walkthrough on some of the apps I use for taking notes, but primarily that's what this has become. Rather than using a physical planner or notepad, I've just gone digital. It's just easier, takes up less room, syncs with all my Macs or iOS devices, so yeah, iPad mini. Then stuffed in between these two, I have a nice little ND filter case. These are just the ND filters I use, particularly if I'm going to be shooting outside or I want a particular type of lighting. So this is just a nice little book to be able to store safely each of those ND filters. So beyond the filters, I also have, so there's a number of different pouches in here, which help for organization as well. Got a nice little carrying case for the microphone that is currently on the camera at this moment. And then I have a backup microphone, and this thing I have had for years. I highly recommend it. It is a company by the name of Tascam. And so this is just a very tiny microphone that you can clip to your belt or to your pants or whatever you need to. And then it has this nice little lav mic that you can just clip to your shirt, which works great, particularly if you want a backup mic. So right now I'm flying 100% solo on the mic that I have attached to this camera. But if you don't want to have the mic attached to your camera and you want something that you can just clip to your shirt, this is a great backup. Next up, this is the pouch that I use mainly for my cables. So I've got like a phone charging cable, and then I've also got some other accessories as well, such as this is going to be a card reader for the type of cards that the Canon R5 takes. And then this is my SanDisk external hard drive. This thing is 4 terabytes. This is actually what I use to store the vast majority of my active video projects. So that'll help me get my video projects back and forth from my desktop to my laptop whenever I need to. I also just use it kind of for storing footage as well. But this thing's great. Again, it's 4 terabytes and it's an SSD, so that makes life a lot easier, particularly when you're rendering or moving footage, because it goes pretty fast. But that's pretty much it. I know that building a camera bag or a bag of any type, particularly if it's something you're going to be doing every day, comes with its own host of challenges, so hopefully this has been helpful. If you did find it helpful, as always, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. nice to see that the roving band of cows have moved on.